No worries.
So that good to catch up with you finally. It sounds like you're on the way to Wyoming.
Yeah, I just packed up today, finished packing this morning, and I'm on my way to West Yellowstone, Montana right now. Hope to get there on Saturday.
How far of a drive?
It's about 700 miles, a little more than 700 miles.
So yeah. So most of the day today, and then get there late tomorrow night.
Yeah, I used to do this drive in one long shot, take off really early and pull into West Yellowstone at midnight or 1 a.m. and then get up and train the dogs the next morning. And as I've gotten older and I can't, I don't like doing that anymore. And those runs never really work out that well for the dogs anyway. I like to be parked by 9 or 10 at night. I can get a good night's rest with the truck not going down the road. Plus, I like to get a good night's rest too.
So you owning a relatively small kennel, how many dogs are you traveling with?
I have 16 on the truck, of which 14 are stage stop ready. Two I've got with me to do for some shorter races that we'll do on this trip. We're on about a 6-week racing trip here. That'll include stage stop, but also some shorter races.
I was just going to say, are those your emotional support dogs?
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah, indeed.
What other races are you going to do?
Well, there's a couple races in West Yellowstone. One the weekend before stage stop that I believe are part of what's called the Wildfire Defense Race Series. So that's being put on by Dave Torgerson. So we'll do that race the weekend before, and then we'll do stage stop, and then the week after stage stop, there's another race in that same series, a 3-day race back in West Yellowstone, and we'll come do that race and then head to the Paw, Manitoba, and do the World Championship race up there.
Oh, very nice. So the Wildfire Defense, don't they have a truck as first prize?
They do. That second race, that 3-day race, has got an F550 truck on the race. Yeah, so we're excited about that.
So I guess you're hoping to get a new truck.
Yeah, I would love to have a new truck. I think a lot of my friends would love to be able to keep teasing me about my old truck that I currently drive, though. So we'll see.
Well, you are 5 steps ahead of me. That's why I never even made it to the stage stop, because I didn't even have a truck which would have made it there.
Yeah, that's a challenge. I think it's a lot of people that don't really, follow dog racing closely don't realize that, it's important to have a rig that can get places. And even a lot of the newer trucks these days that can tow trailers, the newer diesels, they don't do so good in the really cold weather. So it's kind of a crapshoot at 30, 40 below of what's better, new truck, old truck. Sometimes all trucks have problems in those temperatures.
Yeah, no, absolutely, exactly. I remember that from my Fairbanks days, a couple of my neighbor Mashas buying really new trucks. And next thing, their DEF would freeze and they wouldn't even make it.
Yeah, that happens. I feel like that happens to at least one musher almost every year. Either in Alaska or at the Paw, or all these places that can get. I mean, I think it got down to 35 or 40 below at the Paw last year. That's hard on trucks. Yeah.
So looking back a little bit at last year's race, you finished 11th, but very noticeably towards the end of the race, your team was getting quite strong. I remember the Drix stage where you really ended up catching quite a few teams and placed quite high that day. So what's the game plan for this year's?
It's real similar to the last two. To be my third year running the race, and we always come into this race probably undertrained just because of where we live, and it's a challenge for me to really start the race as ready as I'd like to be as far as mileage. So I've always kind of treated the first half of stage stop as training and preparing the dogs for the second half, and it also helps me sort of shake out what the dogs are what they're capable of and what they're feeling, and then I kind of pick some stages towards the end to maybe race a little bit harder. That's not really necessarily the way in an ideal world I'd like to race stage stop, but it's you can only race the 15 years of mushing has taught me, and sometimes the hard way, that you can only race the team you have in front of you, or not the teams everybody else has. So you got to just kind of it's worked well for me to just be conservative and treat the first half of the race as training, and then you see after that.
Okay, I think I'm going to leave it right here for the first part.